In 1972, a man purchased a Maytag washing machine. He left a comment on our previous video saying that 54 years later, that machine still works perfectly. It has endured 5 decades of constant use with just one motor swap. Now think about what happens when you buy an appliance today. You walk into a retail store and drop $3,000 on a Samsung smart fridge with a touchscreen and a fancy glass door. It looks like something from a sci-fi movie, but statistically that machine will be dead within 5 years. And when it breaks, the technician won't repair it. He'll tell you to throw it in the trash. How did we go from machines that lasted 50 years to disposable gadgets that barely survive 5? In this video, we're exposing the engineering disasters hiding in your kitchen and laundry room. We're going to break down the linear compressor fraud, the sealed bearing catastrophe, and the computer chip scheme that has transformed your household appliances into electronic garbage. Let's start with the refrigerator, specifically something called the linear compressor. For generations, fridges relied on standard rotary compressors, a motor that spun continuously while sitting in a pool of oil. It was noisy and consumed a bit more power, but it was nearly impossible to destroy because it was always lubricated. Then, in the early 2000s, manufacturers like LG and Kenmore decided to revolutionize the technology. To comply with aggressive new energy standards, they created the linear compressor. Instead of rotating, this motor pushes a piston back and forth in a straight line like a medical syringe. They promised it would cut energy costs and minimize noise. But there was a critical design flaw. Because it doesn't rotate, it can't splash oil throughout the chamber for self-lubrication. It depends on a tiny, intricate network of valves and springs to prevent friction from destroying the mechanism. Those valves eventually give out. This isn't speculation. This is the foundation of a major class action lawsuit. When a linear compressor fails, it frequently releases metal fragments into the sealed cooling lines of your refrigerator. It's essentially a cardiac arrest for the appliance. You can't simply swap out the compressor because the entire cooling system is contaminated with debris. The fridge is destroyed. But even if the compressor holds up, there's another engineering disaster occurring inside your modern refrigerator. The ice maker. If you own a Samsung French door fridge, you probably understand this frustration firsthand. In previous decades, ice makers were positioned in the freezer. This was logical because the freezer maintains sub-zero temperatures. But modern buyers demanded more storage space, so engineers relocated the ice maker up into the refrigerator section. This violates basic thermodynamic principles. They're attempting to freeze water inside a compartment designed to maintain food at 38 degrees. They have to force frigid air from the bottom to the top through narrow plastic channels into a poorly insulated space. The outcome is predictable. The seals deteriorate, warm air infiltrates, and the ice maker transforms into a solid mass of frost. It gets stuck. It drips water across your kitchen floor and eventually burns out the fan motor. They created a system that battles against physics just to provide a slightly more elegant appearance. The second reason your appliances are failing is the proliferation of computer chips. Your grandmother's oven featured a mechanical dial, a straightforward switch that delivered power to a heating element. If it malfunctioned, you purchased a $10 switch and installed it yourself. Your contemporary oven contains a motherboard, a printed circuit board packed with sensitive microprocessors, solder connections, and capacitors. And where do manufacturers position this fragile computer? Directly beside the oven exhaust. They're installing a computer that despises heat inside a machine engineered to produce heat. The repeated heating and cooling causes the solder connections on the board to fracture. But the real assassin is a feature they advertise as premium. The self-cleaning cycle. When you activate self-clean, your oven seals the door and cranks the temperature to 900 degrees Fahrenheit to incinerate the grease. That intense heat travels up the back of the unit and destroys the control board. We've consulted with numerous repair specialists who all confirm the same thing. Using the self-clean function is the quickest method to kill a modern oven. You're literally cooking the brain of the machine to avoid 10 minutes of manual scrubbing. The replacement board frequently costs $400, assuming they still manufacture it. The identical reasoning applies to modern dishwashers. If you purchased a dishwasher in 1990, it was loud. It roared like an aircraft engine. But that noise came from a robust motor and a powerful food grinder pulverizing your scraps. It completed a wash cycle in 45 minutes, and the dishes emerged spotless. Today, because of energy and water restrictions, modern dishwashers employ tiny, underpowered pumps that merely mist water onto the dishes. To achieve any level of cleanliness, the machine must operate for 3 or 4 hours. And because the motors lack the strength to pulverize food, they eliminated the disposal mechanism. Instead, they provided you with a filter, a mesh container at the bottom of the basin that you must reach into and clean manually, extracting the soggy, decomposing food with your own hands. They charged you extra money for a machine that requires 4 times longer and compels you to perform the disgusting work yourself. But the most outrageous engineering offense is the sealed drum. This is why your washing machine has become a throwaway product. In earlier times, like with that 1972 Maytag, the metal drum rotated on a pair of bearings. These bearings absorb tremendous stress. They inevitably deteriorate. On a vintage machine, you could remove the back panel, extract the worn bearings, install new ones for $20, and extend the life by another decade. Today, manufacturers like Whirlpool and Samsung employ a technique called plastic welding. They embed the bearings permanently into the plastic outer drum. They're sealed inside forever. When the $20 bearing wears out, you cannot replace it. You must purchase the complete drum assembly. The component costs $400. The labor runs $300. Suddenly, the repair estimate is $700 on an $800 machine. The technician looks at you and delivers the phrase that defines our disposable economy. It's not worth fixing. This isn't an oversight. This is an intentional design decision. They deliberately eliminate the option to repair wear components to compel you to purchase a replacement unit. So what's the answer? If you saw our previous video, you're familiar with Speed Queen, but not everyone has $2,000 for a washing machine. The alternative is to completely reject smart appliances. When you're shopping for a refrigerator, seek out the most affordable, most basic model available. Find the one without the touchscreen, without the door ice maker, without the Wi-Fi connectivity. The fewer features it includes, the fewer components that can malfunction. Or follow what knowledgeable buyers are doing. Maintain your dated Harvest Gold appliances. If you have a dryer from 1995, preserve it. It's constructed with steel components and a mechanical timer. It's superior to anything available at retail stores today. Don't be tempted by the stainless steel finishes and illuminated displays. They're merely cosmetics on inferior products. They're marketing a computer that chills your milk. And like any computer, they anticipate you'll replace it every 5 years. Stop purchasing their garbage.